This Shabbat is going to be the 18th day of Elul. This is as of this speech. If I happen to copy this and do it next year, so you should know this is talking about Tav Shin Nun, Tav Shin Pei Daled, Tav Shin Pei Daled. This in a couple of days is going to be Shabbat Yud Chet, 18th day of Elul. 18th day of Elul is the birthday of the Baal Shem Tov and of the first Rebbe of Chabad. Here's a story about the first Rebbe of Chabad. The first Rebbe of Chabad was named Rabbi Shner Zalman. Rabbi Shner Zalman, he's the one that wrote the Tanya over here that we've got. And the Likutei Torah that we learned first thing in the morning. So Rabbi Shner Zalman, he had to flee from before Napoleon. He went together with like about 60 wagons or something of families. They left the city of Liozne. That's where the first Rebbe of Chabad lived. Chabad only went into Lubavitch when the first Rebbe of Chabad passed away. When he passed away, and he passed away in his flight from Napoleon. But that's a story in itself. Okay, but this is one story I want to tell you. So when they were fleeing, so there was one rabbi, a rich person. He lived in Liozne, and they were fleeing. So he said he accepts on himself all of the expenses. He'll pay for all the expenses. He bought all the food. He bought everything there was. He bought, and I guess while they were traveling, also because they went through different cities. They were fleeing from Napoleon, right? Napoleon attacked Russia, and in fact, Napoleon won. Napoleon really conquered Russia. He conquered Russia, but the Russians cleverly burned all of the cities, including Moscow, before he got there. So there wasn't what to eat. He couldn't replenish his supplies of his army. And then, so he had to retreat. And in his retreat, so the Russians did this like sort of a guerrilla warfare, and they depleted his army. His army was like 1/10 of something, what it was. Napoleon. Okay. And so there's a lot of stories that are told. I don't want to tell the story. There was one rabbi, part of the congregation, his name was Rabbi Zelber, and he was tremendously rich. And he said that he'll supply all the needs for the journey. And the Alter Rebbe said that because of this, he's willing to answer any questions that he asked. If he has any questions, he'll answer the questions. And so the Alter Rebbe's son, Dovber, who became his replacement after he passed away, he heard this. My father will answer you any question you ask. Yes. So I want you to go and ask my father if he ever saw the Baal Shem Tov. Now, it's a known thing that the Baal Shem Tov kept away from the Alter Rebbe. He kept away from him. They say he was present when the Alter Rebbe's hair was cut when he was 3 years old. He was there for a few minutes or whatever, that he cut the Alter Rebbe. But except for that, he kept away from the Alter Rebbe. Now, the Baal Shem Tov passed away when the Alter Rebbe was like 15 years old. But nevertheless, they never met. They never met. Everyone agrees that they never met. And so he said, ask my father if he ever met the Baal Shem Tov. Have you ever met with the Baal Shem Tov? Did you ever see the Baal Shem Tov? So this Rabbi Zelber said, but everybody knows that he never met the Baal Shem Tov. It's a known thing that he didn't. And the Rebbe's son, Dovber, said, I want you to go and ask him. He said he'll answer you anything. Ask him anyway. Ask him. So I said, okay. And what's the worst he's going to say? We'll just say no. I never met. So I went to the Alter Rebbe, and he said, you told me that I can ask you any question that I want. And he said, yes. You can ask any question. He said, did you ever see the Baal Shem Tov? I said, no, everybody knows that in my lifetime, the Baal Shem Tov kept away from me and I never saw him. He said, no, I want a yes or no answer. Did you ever see the Baal Shem Tov? So the Alter Rebbe said, I'll tell you. He said, when I was put into prison, the Alter Rebbe had been put into prison like, 20 years, something before that, which that was well after the Baal Shem Tov passed away. The Baal Shem Tov had passed away, 50 years earlier, whatever. So he said, when I was in prison, as I was visited in my prison cell by the Baal Shem Tov and the Maggid of Mezrich. They had already passed away years before. They came into my cell. And I asked them why I was there, and they said, because you're spreading out too much chassidut, but you should continue even more. So yes, the answer to the question is yes, I saw the Baal Shem Tov. After Baal Shem Tov wasn't alive, but he saw him physically, his physical body. So he came back and he said to the Rebbe's son, the Dov Bear, he said, I asked him, and he said that yes, that he saw him when he was in prison. He said, okay, I want you to go and ask him another question. Ask him if he ever saw the AriZal. Now, the AriZal, he had passed away, and 150 years earlier, before the Alter Rebbe. And so he said, before the Alter Rebbe was born, 100 years older, 100 years earlier, 150 years earlier. And so ask him if he ever saw the AriZal. So he did it. This Rabbi Zelber. He went and he said, I can ask any question I want? Yes. Did you ever see the AriZal? I said, how could I have seen the AriZal? He passed away 100 years before I was born. He said, that's not what I wanted. I just want to know yes or no. Did you ever see the AriZal? AriZal was Rabbi Yitzchak Luria, right? He was like the father of modern Kabbalah. He wrote a famous book. It was written by his pupil, Rabbi Chaim Vital, but it's called Eitz Chaim, and pre-Eitz Chaim. So he said, did I ever see the AriZal? He said, well, I'll tell you. He said, when I was just a beginning pupil by the Maggid of Mezrich, this is the first Rebbe of Chabad speaking. When I was just a beginning pupil by the Maggid of Mezrich, the Alter Rebbe was like 20 years old. I was just a beginning pupil by Maggid of Mezrich. The Maggid of Mezrich, he was the successor of the Baal Shem Tov. He was a tremendously holy person. And he had a lot of pupils. Some people say he had 60 pupils. All of them were geniuses and holy. And he asked one of them, Rabbi Yaakov Yosef of Polnoi, that he was the oldest of them. And a lot of people thought that he would be the successor of the Baal Shem Tov. And it ended up that he wasn't. Baal Shem said he would be the successor, of the Baal Shem Tov, right. He wasn't the successor of the Baal Shem Tov in the end. So the Maggid of Mezrich was. So the Maggid of Mezrich called this Yaakov Yosef of Polnoi, and he said, I want you to seat the pupils according to their level of holiness. So Yaakov Yosef of Polnoi, he looked at each one of them with this deep, blazing gaze that looked into the essence of the soul, and he sat everyone around the table according to their level. So, but there was one person that was remaining standing, and Rav Yaakov Yosef of Polnoi said, I don't recognize this person. He said to Yaakov Yosef, he said to the Maggid of Mezrich, I don't know who this person is. I don't recognize. And the Alter Rebbe said, I did recognize who it was. And I stood up and gave him my place. So that person was the AriZal. Was the Rav Yitzchak Luria. That was the AriZal. That's what I said. So the answer to your question is yes. So it ends up that the Alter Rebbe was saying that he saw two people that had already passed away years earlier, and he saw them actually physically. They were actually physical in the physical world. True story. one of the episodes of the Alter Rebbe's flight from Napoleon. Have a good day with Mashiach now. See you all tomorrow at 8:15 in the morning. Thank you for coming.